Hi everyone, welcome to this week's reading. I hope everyone's settling well into January. I can't believe it's January 2014. I've only had to write down 2014 once so far, so it's not really registering that it's 2014, but guaranteed the next time I go to write the year, I might write 2013. But anyways, I certainly have felt such a big shift in energy, and I feel like I've really been challenged to be assertive, which is so awesome. I'm actually waiting for my new book to arrive in the mail from Doreen Virtue. She has a newer book out, and it's Assertiveness for Earth Angels, and it's all about being assertive, standing up for yourself. Us Earth Angels seem to be really nice and overly giving sometimes, so it's about learning how to be assertive, how to set boundaries, to respect yourself. It's not about being aggressive. Being aggressive is different than being assertive. And when I get this book, I actually won this book by writing an affirmation about being powerful. But anyway, once I get this book, who knows, maybe I can share some of it online in some videos. I think it'll really help a lot of people, and not everyone has this book, so I think I might do some videos on that. But anyways, for this week, I'm going to be using the Archangel Oracle cards, which is one of my favorites. You get to connect really quickly with the main archangels and their messages, so I'm going to focus here and ask that the messages that come through will benefit everyone who watches this video for this week. Let's see what this week has in store. It's the first full week of January, and let's hope that it's a good one. So always, nice to pray and kind of set your intention before you do a reading. So for the beginning of this week, we have Clairvoyance, which is Archangel Raziel, who is assisting us with this. The message is, I am helping your spiritual sight to awaken fully so that you can clearly see heavenly love. This has been coming up a lot. This year, I think a lot of people are starting to really awaken, and even the people that you least expect will start to come to you for advice and will fully, well, maybe not fully, but they'll kind of get an idea of what people like me, spiritual teachers and guides and mentors, they'll kind of start to get what we've been talking about for a long time, right? And even if you're not an official mentor, we're all teachers, right? As I've said before, we're all teachers and students. So people will really start to just click and, aha, okay, this is what I'm working through in my life. And they'll kind of start to reach out to you more than they would before. And I think a lot of walls are coming down. They are saying, that the veil is lifting. So it's kind of a good metaphor. I think things are just becoming more clear. And also the beginning of the year is a great time to get clear on your intentions for yourself as well. Getting clear on goals, what you want to manifest. Great time to make vision boards, stuff like this. So I also am going through this, and I find it sometimes is really difficult after the holiday season to get back into your daily life, the normal routine of things, because you're used to being all over the place, eating like crazy or visiting family, and you're mixed up with all these energies right over the holidays. So getting back into the flow of things, I think many people are starting to do that this week. So I think it'll just help you if you take a couple minutes to slow down and breathe and try to meditate or practice yoga, go for a walk. It can be something really small. Like I said before, doing a meditation doesn't have to be sitting there oming for hours, If that works for you, that's cool, but many of us are really, really busy, and it's time to just take some time for you. And even if you just find 5 minutes in your day to focus and to breathe and to tap into love, into your higher self, which we all have the ability to do, things will just become a lot easier for you. And again, I think this is just reminding us that we all do have that ability to connect to our higher self, to source, to spirit, to the divine, to our angels. All you have to do is focus and find a little bit of time for yourself. Focus on what you do want, and just trust that the messages that you are receiving are very true and valid. Lots of inflow, and I'm trying to think of the right word to use here. Lots of insights coming in, so make sure that you're trusting those. So Archangel Raziel is really helping us with this, and feel free to call on Raziel to help you with anything to do with that, clairvoyance, trusting yourself, any insights that you might be getting. Just make sure that you trust them and call on Raziel if you feel the need. For the middle of this week, interesting, clairaudience. Again, this is all about trusting your own abilities. This is with Archangel Zadkiel. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. Unreal. We're really, really awakening. Sounds like a really awakening week. You may have really vivid dreams, I feel. Might be a good idea to write down your insights. I actually had quite a weird experience last night. I was waking up, but I felt like I wasn't really fully in my body. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I was half in spirit and half here. It was really, really strange, which I've never really experienced before. It was kind of like, yeah, like lucid dreaming, I guess, because the soul does leave the body every night and is, in other dimensions and in spirit, really, gaining a lot of information and things like that, which is always stored in our subconscious. So these things might start to come to light during the day as well. And if you have insights, like I said, it might help just to write them down. But thoughts, hear your thoughts in your head. I read something really, really inspiring yesterday about manifesting, and oftentimes we lose faith after a while if we're working on a certain goal or something, and our negative thoughts cancel out all the hard work that we've been doing to manifest great things. So when you catch yourself, it's about catching yourself and making that a practice. When you catch yourself having negative thoughts, you can think to yourself after that, I cancel that thought. And I started doing that today, which I think is really, really powerful. And it's something so small, but honestly, I think it's a really good practice to get into, because the ego wants to interfere, right? And it's so easy to happen and to start spiraling into negative thoughts. But if you can practice catching yourself, it does take practice, but at least catch yourself and say, I cancel that thought, I cancel that negative thought, and get realigned with an affirmation, or just even one word affirmations like safe or grounded or love or loved, like things like that will really assist you. But there's lots of loving guidance that is easily accessible to you to hear through your mind. Even though the mind can get really cluttered and full of chatter, you can definitely cancel your negative thoughts even after you think them. You don't have to get mad at yourself or be harsh with yourself, which I think many of us do. But again, that just spirals and it keeps adding up into negative energy. And another thing that I'd like to add before I go on to the end of the week, for the weekend, is something I mentioned yesterday. Is it's one thing to be aware of what's going on in your mind, and it's great. Awareness is key to changing any habit, any thought process. You need that awareness first, and you need to admit to what you're thinking, whether you're thinking something really negative or not. And also, it's the same for feeling any kind of physical pain or emotional pain that is within you. It's really important to have that awareness. But there's a line, and there's a difference between being aware of something that's going on within your body and what you're feeling, acknowledging it and accepting it. And the other side of it that we can easily slip into is focusing so much on it, focusing on our pain, on past trauma, focusing on what's wrong with us. I caught myself doing this big time with always saying to myself and reaffirming to myself that I have root chakra issues. And the more you reaffirm these things, the more it continues to manifest and stay in a vicious cycle within you. So it's really important at a certain point, after you acknowledge whatever issue it is you're feeling, to let it go and to affirm that you are safe and that you are grounded, and whatever the issue is, just remember that your soul can never be hurt. We're in a physical body, it's our shell, and sometimes we feel physical pain, sometimes we feel emotional pain, but our soul itself cannot be hurt or damaged in any way. It's light and it's love, and that is our core that is unshakable. So just remember that. I just wanted to throw that in there. For the weekend, guys, we have Overcoming Difficulties. This is with Archangel Jeremiah, or Jeremiel, however you'd like to pronounce it. The worst is now behind you, and you're surmounting any previous challenges. I think just looking at this picture says it all. 2013 was rough for a lot of us. We have overcome a lot, and it's time to start your new year fresh. And again, let go of the pains that you had in 2013, the relationship problems you had in 2013, the chakra issues you had in 2013, the physical discomfort you had in 2013. the emotional problems you had in 2013 was 2013, and we are now here in 2014, and it's time to decide to write the script, if you will, and you get to decide what you want to manifest. So instead of always confirming, it's like you're reconfirming to yourself all the time what your issues always have been, what your habits have been, what your patterns have been, what your behavioral patterns have been in this life. You know, things that you've been doing for years. It doesn't have to stay with you forever. And as soon as you make that conscious choice, that's the beginning of a huge shift and a huge change. Now, obviously, everything takes practice, and it's definitely not easy, but the beginning of any huge change or breaking any cycle, any addiction, any habit is simply with changing your belief system and starting to believe that you can do it and that you can change. And like I said, it takes a lot of practice, and it's really difficult sometimes, but once that seed is planted, it's going to grow forever. And that's what the process is all about for us in this life, is just constantly growing. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about accepting what was and just trying to live right now as is, as you are, because you're perfect as you are. You are where you're meant to be, and it's just about letting go and trusting that. So I encourage you all this week to really pay attention to all the things that you tell yourself, all the stories that you tell yourself, who you associate yourself to be. And remember who you are. Remember the I am essence. And like I said, your soul, you are a soul, and essentially you are light and you are love. And yes, many horrible things can happen, whether it's to your physical body, it can happen to you psychologically. You know, there's huge traumas that happen to us all. But that doesn't have to stick with you for the rest of your life. And just because other people may have a life plan where they stay in that traumatic state for the rest of their life, you don't have to choose to do that. So remember that you can tap into any intuition, any insight that you need. You can contact any angel you want. You can, call on whoever you want. You can talk to God. You can talk to whoever it is you feel guided to talk to. You can just talk to the universe in general. Whatever you feel like doing. There's no right or wrong here. The messages for this week really show that we're really starting to lift the veil, like I said, and get clear about where we need to go, what is it we love to do, getting clear on our own path, listening to loving thoughts in our mind. And yes, we get clouded thoughts sometimes, and it gets really up in here in the head, but you can definitely cancel any negative thoughts, get realigned with your truth, who you are, and with light. We are overcoming a lot of difficulties, and this is so very fantastic. I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.